Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
So we've obviously finished up a little bit early, and I don't have anything specific on the schedule. We did cut, some of the individual discussion stuff short. We've got an hour before the bus shows up. It'll probably actually be here, I'm assuming, a little bit earlier than 4 o'clock. So if it does, we can leave a little bit earlier. Is there anything in particular? We can do a couple things. We can simply break up into the smaller groups for chatting further about either end user issues or developer issues or technical issues, as we did before. It seems like we might have cut those a little bit short. If there are any particular questions you have for any of the Microsoft Research team or other things that you've thought of, I'm happy to open the floor to any type of discussion if you have a topic.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And it's more of where Conference XP is going to be used. And based on the work that we've done earlier this year with the 2007 TAP group,
Right.
There's a couple of MCS, Microsoft Consulting Service people who are working with us.
Right.
And every time I mention Conference XP, presentation mode, OneNote, all that kind of stuff, I always hear back from them, gee, that would be nice if other people within Microsoft could use that, because in a lot of meetings we don't get to take away the content. So my question based on that is, are you guys going to be trying to have other areas of Microsoft use the technology?
Okay. So that's a very good question. To date, we've been hampered by the lack of firewall traversal and the lack of obvious security in the product. So when you're talking about corporate communications, you typically want something that is secured in some form or fashion. The simple answer is that it can be used internally on our internal corporate network without a problem, although not many people seem to be enamored right now of the video conferencing capabilities. So we have other ways to do video conferencing, and everyone is still phone or email, it seems like, or face-to-face meeting. Remember that most of the development teams are located in Redmond, within a couple of buildings each other, so it's not as big an issue there. We have, as I pointed out, enabled both of our guest lecture rooms in Microsoft Research, and we're going to start piloting, hopefully this month, making guest lectures available to remote participants in an interactive fashion. So we're going to skip the netcasting phase of this, although we've netcasted all of our guest lectures internally. We're going to skip netcasting externally and go straight to Conference XP for all of those. And if we do have people who want netcast simultaneous as a different format, we'll enable that. But that, I think, will be the big test for us for that. Microsoft Research Cambridge is installing their rooms, even as their lecture rooms and meeting rooms as we speak. MSR India is doing the same, and MSR Asia as well. So right now we've got a very large internal test bed. And because those are the research organizations, they're going to be using that for external communications as well. They're putting it on all the outside the firewall networks so that they'll be able to have Conference XP conversations with their academic constituency. So yes, it will increase. There's no product-like interest here. What Stella told you about the bandwidth stuff, we've run into this before with everything from NetMeeting to Messenger to Office Communicator, which is when we talk to corporate IT departments and we go, well, we could scale up to, and they just panic. The thought of all of those video streams across their internal networks as bandwidth constrained as the typical organization is today, they really don't want that. So when we talk about things like Roundtable, they're targeting the median, or maybe just a little bit in advance in the median, whereas Conference XP is assuming university research quality networks with the bandwidth and pipes that are there. So it's a very different target market. So, any other questions? So in planning for next year, I'd like to send out a solicitation or a nomination for a program committee. I'd like to get anywhere from 8 to 10 people. I do want strong international participation. Again, as we said, we've got 20% this year, and I certainly would expect that to grow next year. So I've got a whole list of items I need to send out as follow-up to this meeting. I'm going to. Would anyone object to me creating a listserv that is just the attendees of this conference and putting your name on it? If you would prefer not to have that happen, please send me a piece of mail. But we won't make it accessible from outside of the attendee list at this time. And I'll make sure that that's a short-lived 6-month only listserv for privacy concerns. I've had some chats with our guests here from Latin America who are interested in holding a local workshop there. We're still having discussions about how to do this for India, for Europe, and for the PAC Rim countries. But again, I very much am interested in your feedback on what we can do to improve this, both the workshops and overall all of the things that we're investing in here. I'm very excited about the roundtable hardware. Not just for Conference XP, but for improving all types of conferencing. It's something technically that could probably even work with Windows Messenger. I was afraid to ask that question for the panic that might ensue. But if it's exposing itself as just a normal USB video or webcam type of interface, then almost any application could pick it up. So I would certainly love to see the AccessGrid folks pick up and run with a bunch of roundtables, just to see the looks on the Australian. Yes, there we go. AccessGrid community face. So with that, the rest of the Conference XP team is going to be here for the next 45 minutes or so until the bus shows up. Thank you for coming, and I hope to see all of you next year. Thank you.